we have to go over Bitcoin. As you can see, we are now at 73.8K here inside of Bitcoin. And Bitcoin really hasn't been doing much over the past 2 days. As you can see, we've kind of bottomed out on the 28th. And now we've just been kind of at the bottom here, consolidating at the bottom of this bear flag. So we're going to talk about where I think we're going next here with Bitcoin. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. But let's get straight into it. And like I was saying earlier, we're kind of sideways on Bitcoin's 24-hour performance at 0.4% up for the last 24 hours. And we have down 4% in the last 7 days. So Bitcoin has been performing a little bit choppy right now, right? A little bit choppy. We went all the way down here to 72.4K. So we almost broke the bottom of our bear flag. So that's very important to see where we're going to go next. And then you can also look here. We are trading below the 50-day moving average, but we still have the possibility to test that 50-day moving average. And I feel like that's where we might go next. We might actually retest that 50-day moving average. And then if we get back above it, then we have the possibility to retest the 200-day moving average, which is the white line, and see where it goes from there. But personally, I don't think it'll get above that. I don't think it'll get above the 200-day, possibly the 50-day. I don't think the 200-day. We'll see what will happen. I think we might just get stuck out here at the 50-day and have a rejection there. So we would have to wait and see what exactly happens with the price of Bitcoin at that point. And then we also have the MACD over here. You can see that selling pressure building up right here. But usually when we get stuff like this is usually like an extended selling period. And the only way we can be bullish is if we see more of these lightly red shaded candlesticks that start popping up, that start getting smaller and smaller, and eventually lead to that buying pressure. Right? That's the only way we're seeing a pump in the price. But if we keep seeing movement like this, where we keep getting these dark red candlesticks, followed by a little bit more of the lightly shaded candlesticks, then that is what I like to call extended selling pressure. I call it extended selling pressure. I know people probably have different names for it, but I just be like, hey, it's extended selling pressure or extended buying pressure, right? So this right here to me is extended selling pressure. So I feel like it might extend beyond the 50-day, get rejected, and continue downwards towards that 68.5K resistance. So that's what I'm looking at right there. And then we also have the percent R trend exhaustion here. The white line is the short-term trend. Blue line is the long-term trend. We have the short-term trend looks like it's about to have sort of a recovery, which again could shoot the price up, which is why I'm saying watch out for that 50-day moving average at 77K. There's a possibility that we could shoot up there to 77K. So I would say be extremely careful for that. And then on the 4-hour chart, I talk about this all the time as well. We're still below the 50-day moving average on the 4-hour chart. And then on the percent R trend exhaustion, I talk about this all the time. You can see the white line, the short-term trend is pushing far past the blue line, which is the long-term trend. So we have the short-term trend pushing far past the long-term trend. Now, the real thing is, are we going to do what this one did and then have that pullback like that and then pull back the short-term and long-term trend? Because the short-term trend will drag down the long-term trend, right? When we see it breaking past the long-term trend, we see it pulling the long-term trend down. So what we can see here is a possibility of that happening again because the long-term trend is not following the short-term trend. So when you look at it on the 4-hour chart, this is kind of what happens right before a dump, right? And I would like to argue that this is a bear flag in the making. It's like a miniature bear flag, right? So it might not look like much, but this is like a miniature bear flag inside the making on the 4-hour chart, which is a more shorter term time frame. So as you can see here, that would be bearish, obviously, because it's a bear flag, and we're trading within a greater bear flag pattern as well. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see there. But yeah, we are seeing this divergence here build up, and it does look like it wants to build some bullish divergence. But if we're building bullish divergence, we're still getting lower lows on the chart and higher lows on the MACD. So in my eyes, I'm seeing that we're going to have another pullback here. This will be the next higher low on the MACD, and that will print out a lower low on the chart for the 4-hour chart. So again, there's a possibility to push to 77K, yes, but there's also a possibility to just dump right now, because that's what the shorter term time frames are showing us. The 4-hour is showing us, hey, it looks like it wants to get dumped right now. And then this is another example of the percent R trend exhaustion. If that short-term trend does have a pump up to the long-term trend, then you'll see the price starting to increase, which is why I keep saying that we might actually see it pumping up all the way to 77K and then dumping, because even though the percent R trend exhaustion, is not following the short-term trend on the 4-hour chart, it could overextend itself and then it can eventually follow it, just like how we seen the other one do it. Like the other one literally just now did that. So if we do the same thing on the 4-hour chart, that would look like the price going sideways for a bit and then it'll start ramping up, right? And that might take us to 77K. And also on the hourly chart, we're now above the 50-day moving average, which does show that we have the possibility to push up a little more before the next dump. So that's what I would look at here on Bitcoin. But yeah, other than that, we're still looking bearish on the weekly chart here. Percent R trend exhaustion on the weekly chart still curving downward, showing selling pressure. The MACD on the percent R, or the MACD on the weekly chart is showing the bullish divergence here. We should start getting that selling pressure coming in and getting these higher lows on the MACD, while simultaneously printing those lower lows on the chart. So we should see that pullback coming in any moment now, but we might get that push to 77K before we get that. So that might be the last nail in the coffin for the bulls, and then that might be the last time they trap the bulls again. So yeah, still be careful, because they're doing literally bull traps left and right, right? So definitely be super careful. Now, I want to go over what some people are saying here in the market. This guy Max Trades is saying, I'm still expecting a relief bounce to retest some of the recent breakdown levels. Price has started to stabilize after the recent sell-off, with volatility on the weekend remained relatively low. So this guy is saying that he's pretty much still expecting a relief rally, but how much of a relief rally are you expecting, right? And then when you look at this, he's showing it going up to 77K. And really, he has from 78 to 79K, which is pretty much the same level that I have it at. And I have it at that level because that's where our 50-day is for our 50-day moving average, right? And that's also where our Fibonacci resistance is. So this is, we pretty much have the same thing. We have the same information. We should have a push up to 77K. If we have it, let's see if we break past it. If we get past 80K, there's a possibility that it can go up a little higher. So we don't want to see it getting up there. If you're a bear, you don't want to see it doing that much, but it probably is going to at least get to 77K. So we're going to look and see what happens there. And then on this post is interesting. This guy says a whale opened a $13.6 million Bitcoin short with 40x leverage, and you can see his liquidation price is 74.4K. And if you look at where Bitcoin actually got, it didn't get to 74K like it's showing here. It didn't get to 74.4K like it's showing there, which means that person's not yet liquidated. They almost got liquidated, but not yet. But look, if I'm right and we do push up, this person's getting liquidated. And this is why, you can't just follow the whales just because they're whales. They don't know everything. They don't have the all-seeing eye. They don't know everything. They don't know what's going to happen with the price of Bitcoin. They just have a lot of money. And this proves it. Like, this whale is about to get liquidated, and they have over $13.6 million in there on 40x leverage. Like, nah, this whale is getting liquidated. Well, they put in $290,000, so then they can do 40x leverage, which comes out to 13.6 million. So they're going to lose their 290,000 if this continues to go up, and I have a feeling it's going to continue to go up. All right. So, don't feel bad that you're losing money. There's literally whales losing $290,000 in a day because they're trying to 40x leverage that and trade with it like it's 13 million. So be careful, because anybody can get it, right? Anybody can get burned. Anybody can lose money in the market. All right. It's not subjected to only the retail people, right? But anyways, this is all I got for you guys today. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. I'm going to keep you guys updated on this. I have a lot of video requests from non-members, so I'm going to do those slowly one by one. But remember, the videos for the members, I do that immediately in one day. And I'm doing that for all of the members. Anyone who becomes a member is only $9.99 per month. I do it immediately for them. But if you're not a member, it's going to take me a minute because a lot of people are making requests. Right. So this was a request. Someone requested, they wanted to see the shorter term timeframes on Bitcoin, right, from a non-member. And then we got, some more non-members asking for stuff like lab and advances, some more stuff. So I'm going to go over those eventually. Just got to give me time. But shout out to you guys. Hit the like button and subscribe. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. As always, I'll be back with another video.